Hi, welcome to vlog 18. This is a vlog for those who haven't ever watched this before, of me documenting a year-long training project to achieve a double bodyweight squat, having missed resistance training or strength training of any kind for about 12 to 18 months after lockdown. So I started in April, so we're now into August. 4 or 5 months in now, and just kind of tracking that journey, so hopefully by next April I can achieve that double bodyweight squat. So this today is going to be a bit of a data based session. The last few ones haven't been as much, but I'll probably kind of talk around those issues as well. Yeah, get into it basically. So this is today. I did this today. Today's load velocity profile, and that's the way I use to predict what my 1RM is currently sitting at. So I'll just kind of open this out a little bit so we can see this a little bit better. So the way that works currently, this is again subject to change depending on my strength levels. I do 5 loads at 60, 80, 100, 120, 130 kilograms, and then take the actual velocity, mean concentric velocity, for those people who are that way inclined to understand those things. So the data on the right hand side is what I took from today. So again, those people are particularly into maths. We've got a linear regression model that I use to calculate the actual prediction that I use for further loads. So what I've seen there today, that's how accurate the prediction is based off those 5 loads. So you can see that 130 kilograms, using the linear regression equation, the predicting at that velocity would be 130.16. So it's pretty accurate. The lower velocities are a little bit less accurate, and the higher velocities, I'll rephrase that. The higher velocities are a little bit less accurate, and then the lower down the velocity range you get, the more accurate it becomes. So the left hand side is where I'm currently sitting at, and I suppose the message really from there is that it's not really been much of a change. I haven't really seen a clear progression since I started, really. So, well, I've been training for 4 or 5 months and I haven't got any stronger, is what that's saying. In fact, we probably had a subtle decline this phase, so that's really disappointing. I would certainly have hoped to have seen a more pronounced increase than that this time round. So something's not going right. Something's not going as well as I would like it to go. It could have been better. I'm still as far away from squatting double my body weight as I was at the beginning. According to today's load velocity profiling, which is just a snapshot, 1 day snapshot over overall progress. And it's quite easy to get disheartened by that. I mean, I've been training, I've been doing lots of things to try and get better, and then to see that is a little bit kind of, disheartening is the best way to put that on its own. And if I take that out of the equation and look at some more general bits of information, I'll give you, for example, those who follow me on Instagram. Again, not many people do, so don't blame me if you haven't seen it. Is for the first time I was able to do 120 kilos for 5 repetitions on Saturday. Now, when I first started this particular phase of training, I think I did 2 repetitions and then failed, and it was like I just couldn't see me getting to 5 repetitions of that. So that is a clear indication of making significant progress. Not only to be able to see, like, I feel like I made progress, but that was clear evidence that I have made progress. Not just about how fast I was moving it, but just completing the set at 120. And I probably could have done a little bit better as well. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 kilos more. Not a huge amount more, but maybe up to 5 kilos more. So I'm going to take that with a little bit of kind of pinch of salt. I don't think the data is wrong, but I don't think it's the only thing I can hang my hat on. I think there's other bits of evidence along the way that says I have gotten better, and I've just got to keep on trusting in the process. That being said, I have stuck to the process particularly well during this phase. It's been really kind of fragmented and a little bit chaotic and disruptive, and not the kind of regular routine training. Yeah, so kind of inconsistent training, and therefore you can't expect to have great results if you're not training consistently. And I've started these last kind of 4 or 5 days to get a bit more consistent diet wise and training wise. So hopefully if I can continue this for another couple of weeks, that change in 1RM performance will hopefully start to be borne out by the load velocity data that I'm collecting. So there's a couple of things there that I need to think about. One other thing is I've changed device that I measure velocity by, which is today was measured using the output device, whereas in previous weeks used the push device. So there is a possibility that there could be some kind of inconsistencies in terms of the data and how it's being reported by those two devices. So it could well be that I have actually improved a bit, and just the way that two devices collect data could be slightly different, and that is entirely possible. Not by a huge amount. I'm not predicting to actually be 20-30 kilos heavy. It might be 5-6 kilos based on this prediction model. But that's kind of that current situation. In terms of inconsistency, you probably see this quite clearly here, that very much over the last couple of weeks, maybe the last 4 or 5 weeks, that those vertical jump scores, so if you look at the right hand side of that graph, real high peaks and troughs. So that's showing me that when I'm training well, it's consistent, and when I'm training inconsistently, it drops quite markedly. Although the highest peak by some distance was today's peak. Again, that was collected by output, and previously I used push devices to collect that data. So again, there might be some inconsistency between how those two devices calculate relative peak power, which might explain why we've had such an anomaly of results. But again, we'll try that over the next few weeks and see how that pans out. But again, hopefully it's consistently the same. And although today's strength scores don't necessarily show that I've improved, there's an indication there that I've increased peak power. The other thing I'll probably say that's borne out in my inconsistency in terms of general life and training is body composition and strength load and body mass, which is, as you can see there by the very, very right hand side of that graph, on the increase, which is definitely not helpful when trying to do double body weight, because it just adds to the amount you have to squat. So if I flip on to body composition, which is probably a better mark in terms of overall performance and health, it stayed relatively consistent around the same kind of percentages, maybe just slightly on the rise for fat mass over the last couple of maybe 7 to 8 days, but it's not massively changed the shape of the graph. You can see that it's still above the level I started at, so that's still a marker of progress, but again, something that I could have done better at over the past 6 to 8 weeks. So that's kind of where I sit with data. It's a bit of a stagnant position, really, not really changed, not seeing great change in strength, seeing inconsistencies in relative peak power, although there's some hope on the horizon, hopefully, and inconsistent and therefore no change in body composition. So frustrating, but not gotten worse. Hopefully I've gotten better, but need to see that borne on the data, and just need to get back to consistency. So it's what I said last week and a couple of weeks before: consistency is the key.